Hey y'all, this is my first time speaking up and speaking out on a platform, so I'm a little nervous. If y'all could just bear with me. If you see me looking to your left, that's because I've typed everything out. I'm a very detailed, in-depth person, so I need to make sure I'm hitting everything on head, boom, by bam. So I'm going to start off by introducing myself. My name is Erin. I'm from Chicago, but I'm currently living in the Chicagoland area. First and foremost, I am one of God's children. I'm a young black queen. I'm 23. I am a new mom. My baby's name is Anashi, and that means God's gift. And my little sister Kyla, she actually came up with my baby name. So thank you, sis. Um, uh, I am an empath. For those who don't know what that is, it's an individual who is more sensitive than a collective. We tend to take on more than we can handle because we want to help those in need and have a tendency to not have boundaries in place where we need them. We take on others' emotions unintentionally. Our intuition is usually very strong. Our purpose in this world as empaths is to heal the collective in order to get them on a higher vibration. For a long time, y'all, I was struggling with figuring out my passion, my purpose. And I learned that it was because I didn't know myself. I was going down the wrong path. I was, but I wasn't. So I did want to become a psychotherapist, which is an individual who counsels through conversation versus prescribing medication, or in other words, the people that sit down and talk to you about, the difficulties that you got going on in your life. But I didn't want to go to school for 8+ years, In that field, you will want to get your doctorate degree because that's where the money is. And even though I'm not in it for the money, I still got to make sure, I'm taken care of. You feel me? So, that was at the time where, I was living in the illusion of thinking that I had to go to school to get a career and make good money and be set for the rest of my life, right? Because that's what we was taught. But it wasn't until I was 2 months pregnant and 22 years old that I figured out my purpose. So here I am today, telling my story thus far, my view on situations, life, and what I've learned. The goal is to get teens and people in their early 20s like myself to build a relationship with God. We want to get to know ourselves. We want to relearn and throw out the BS that was instilled in us. We need to heal. We want to use our discernment and become the gods and goddesses that we were intended to be, that we used to be. To understand, as my child's father would say, he uses that word. You always have a chance to change your life around, change the people around that live for negativity like hatred, anger, impulsiveness, ego, pride, jealousy. You have a chance to change your circumstances. And y'all know where it starts, in the heart and in the mind. You gotta want to take them steps towards completely dedicating your life to God and putting all your faith into spirit and believing. I know it's easier said than done, y'all, but that's why you got me, so utilize me. So y'all, let me tell you how once you actually want to make the effort to change yourself for the better and do right by God, you'll realize that spirit is our mother, father, brother, sister, auntie, uncle, grandma, grandpa, so on and so forth, wife, husband, all that. And your life is going to change drastically. You're no longer going to be concerned about, relationships with people, because God will either remove who isn't there for you and or confirm who is rocking with you. You're no longer going to be concerned about your financial situation because you'll understand why you're going through what you're going through, and you're going to have faith in God, knowing that He's going to help you through it as long as you're making the effort and your intentions are right. This goes for health and career as well. And again, I know it's easier said than done, but this is what real faith looks like. It's a process, so you definitely want to be patient with yourself. So I just want to give y'all my testimony on me putting my faith in God and, what I was going through while I was pregnant. So here we go. I started back working at 20 weeks pregnant, and I stopped working at 38 weeks pregnant. I had my baby by 39 weeks. So I'm going to tell y'all my full pregnancy experience in depth in another video, and it's real good, y'all. Y'all going to want to watch that one. But during that time I was working, my goal was to put up at least $1K for my baby because I wanted to have cushion room, you know, just knowing that she'll be straight, because me and her father were going through financial difficulties. So that was my goal. But unexpected bills started coming up, and my child's father, you know, he would need money here and there because he was trying to get his music out in the media. So when I turned around, I done had my baby and I ain't got a dime put up. So now at that time, I wasn't on talking terms with my mama, which I'll go into depth about that another time as well. But we ended up reconnecting per my dad, and she ended up telling me she had some money she wanted to send me for the baby. Y'all, why did this lady send me $1K? God used her to bless me. And I think about it and I realize I never met the goal because of everything that was being placed in my way. You know, those unexpected bills and, you know, throwing that money to my child's father. You know, I just look at it like God was watching me. You know, he was watching my emotions and watching my reactions. And because I kept my head up and I kept pushing forward, he was like, here you go. I'm finna bless you through your mama. So, when Spirit said don't worry, I didn't worry. I couldn't even worry because I was carrying my goddess, you know, my baby. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with y'all and give you an example of like what faith looked like. You know, I put in the effort, and even though I didn't see the results right away, God blessed me anyway. And it wasn't on my time, but it was on his time, and his time was on the right time. But also because that same $1K I thought I needed for cushion room for my baby, it was actually needed to keep a roof over all our heads. So I didn't even need that money for what I thought I needed it for. It was for something even bigger that I didn't even know was going to happen. So my child's father was going job to job at the time because people was being racist, and it was just a lot of complications at that time. So me being me, I'm not finna stay nowhere. I'm not appreciated. I'm not respected as far as job wise. So I didn't expect him to either, you know. But my baby was set, you know. My family had put together a baby shower. Everybody came out, bought her something. My auntie on my mama's side, she spent over $1K on my baby before my baby was even born. And to this day, she is still consistent in buying my baby things that she needs. And I've never asked her for anything, y'all. Like, that's God. That's a blessing right there. I don't even know how to show my love and appreciation to her. Like, but best believe I'm very grateful. So God knew how everything was going to play out, and all I had to do was keep the faith and do right. I also went into motherhood knowing that I was not going to be able to pay my bills. I had nothing to fall back on. My mindset is, it is what it is. God will provide for me, and Spirit knows my heart. Because I used to be quick to get emotional and become worrisome. You know, I'm a Cancer sun and I'm a Pisces moon. So water sign, you know, they real emotion. We real emotional, real sensitive. If you know, you know. And to this day, I don't have a job. My baby 5 months old, and reason being is because I breastfeed and I have a hard time pumping out enough ounces for her to be able to go to daycare and me to go to work. But since my baby been born, I had to figure it out, and unemployed at that. I thought I could lean on my child's father for support when I was never supposed to. And I'm not saying that in a negative sense. It's just my truth. I carried the burden of having to pay all the bills, being a first-time mom, learning how to breastfeed, still having to go to the store, cook, clean, and make sure that my mental was good for the first 3 months of Anashi's life. I decided to go my own way. I separated from my child's father 2 months ago, and I'll go into detail about that as well another time. But thankfully, my uncle and my dad helped me financially these last couple months. And yeah, that's my testimony, y'all. But on another note, God knows us very well, and there's no fooling spirit. So as I'm planning out my project, my friend Miracle sends me a YouTube video of B. Simone and her best friend Megan A. Brooks, and they're in their early 30s. They have a podcast called Know For Sure, and that's KNOW, and I advise y'all to go check it out. It's the real deal. And basically what they speaking on is relationships, accountability, what they've learned from their 20s to their 30s, but most importantly, they speaking on God. Everything that they're talking about, God is included. And they're very genuine, very honest, and that's what I love about it also. So after watching the episode, it gave me more inspiration to keep working towards starting my channel, because the only difference is I'm in my 20s wanting to get through to the teens and the generation of 20s. So me being me, I wanted about 30 topics already written out, and I wanted a summary for each module. It's just a rough draft. And I wanted equipment to make my videos look professional, and that costs money, right? But on top of that, I'm somewhat of a procrastinator, so me wanting all of this would just cause me to prolong anything out. Plus, I'm kind of shy, so I'm more so like the background person, you know, like behind the scenes. So God knowing me, he wasn't finna play with me, and Spirit put a date on it. So October 23rd, 2022, which was Sunday, God put it on my heart and my mind to put some type of material out by October 28th, 2022, which is today. So at this point in my life, I know if I disobey God, it's going to be consequences, and I'm fearful of what would happen, because at the end of the day, if I know better, then I got to do better, period, point blank. I wasn't about to play with God or my blessings, so I started somewhere. My point is, y'all, if you're similar to me and you struggle with finding your passion or your purpose, and God finally showed you the path, it's priorities over procrastination, and that's period. And that goes for anything in life. You got to start somewhere, regardless of if you're a perfectionist or a planner like myself or any other, you know, excuse. It doesn't matter. You know, another thing is fear. Fear starts to set in, and then it's like we kind of fall back from what we really want to do, and that's because the enemy is trying to come in and stop that. Stop what we got going on, because we trying to do good. Don't let him win, y'all. So we also scared to take a L. And instead of looking at it as a loss, you got to look at it as a lesson, because we need lessons to build our strength, our character, our attitude. We need lessons to know what not to do the next time. And we can also pass along the message to the next person or people, so they don't have to experience what we had to experience. You know what I'm saying? They can learn just through us. So if we keep looking at it as a loss, we'll never learn what God wanted us to learn from the situation, which is that lesson. So our ultimate goal is to help the collective, save as many people as we can, save the kids, especially from falling into the trap of the evils. And we all have our own unique way of doing that. We just got to find it or pursue it. I can most definitely talk all day, y'all, but I'm going to save some for next week. If you made it this far in the video, thank you very much for taking the time out your day, and I hope I provided inspiration, love, and light. I know I didn't disappoint, though. And if you want to reach out to me personally for any advice, if you want to talk, I'll leave the information in the description below. And y'all have a beautiful night, you know. Remember, God is always waiting on you. You're the only one playing. All right, love.